Hello everybody, welcome to Iron Mission. Thank you so much for being here. Brand new channel. I'm Jason.
Joanna.
And we are going to be bringing you all kinds of fun stuff when it comes to riding motorcycles and the motorcycle life, because we love it. It is something we really enjoy doing, and I hope you do too. In today's video, we've got a fun one for you. What are we going to be talking about?
We're talking how to buy a motorcycle and what to look out for.
And not get ripped off in the process. Now you might be asking yourself, why am I listening to these two people talk about how to buy a motorcycle? What do they actually know about it? Well, obviously we've got one motorcycle right here. There's another motorcycle right there off in the corner. And I wish I could tell you that those were the only two motorcycles that we've had. Well, that's not exactly true. And in fact, how many motorcycles have we purchased in the last, even just the last 4 years? She's counting.
4, 5?
5, yes, 5. So we have purchased 5 motorcycles in the last 4 years.
As of today.
As of the making of this video, of course. And then I've also tagged along with a couple of my buddies, and they bought an additional 3. And so we actually have a little bit of experience in this area. And believe it or not, right now I'm a biology professor, but a long time ago, I was actually in purchasing.
I know.
A whole lifetime ago. I spent like 20 years in purchasing, buying like all kinds of big time equipment. And you're a numbers person too?
I am, and I also like to go shopping.
Okay, well there's that, but she's in accounting. So we put all those things together, and hopefully we're going to give you something to think about, especially now this is motorcycle buying season, and we've got some tips for you. So let's talk about it.
First thing is not necessarily the most fun, but that is know your budget and stick to it.
It's so true. And knowing your budget is more than just having an idea of the price of the motorcycle. You need to know this magical number called the out the door price. And that means the cost of the motorcycle, all taxes, title, registration, all the little fun add-ons. You really want to have an idea of how much you want to spend when it's all said and done. So don't just look at a motorcycle and think, oh, I want to spend $15,000. This bike's $15,000 out the door. You add in all those things, it's going to be more. So know exactly what you want to spend when you leave that place and walk out, and do the best job you can of sticking to it. So once you know exactly what you're going to spend out the door, this is the time to start doing your research, because now you have to figure out which motorcycle is best going to fit your budget. And that means looking on the internet, learning from other people's experiences, go to forums, go on Facebook, ask questions, get opinions. Those things can all be really, really helpful. One other thing to keep in mind as we're going through this process, try not to get super emotional about any one particular bike. There's always going to be the next best ever bike out there. I know it seems like it when you find one, that this is the one and only. Trust me, try not to get emotional.
Now the next point is, this may be difficult, but if you are going to be doing a test ride, if you're going to be sitting on a bunch of bikes, try not to actually do the deal that day. You need to take some time, think about it, clear your head when you're away from this beautiful shiny object, so you have a clear head and you can think about it rationally, unlike him.
Me?
Yes, you.
I did mention I don't always follow the rules 100%. It's hard when you go, I get it. It's really hard sometimes when you go to the dealer and they all look so great and they've got the great lights that show off the bikes, especially after you ride it. It's really hard not to get super excited. We want to try to stay emotionally level-headed. Don't get too connected. Do research. Test ride more than one bike. Test ride more than one bike from more than one location. Really get an idea of the likes and dislikes for each model that you're looking at. Each individual bike's going to have their own personality. If you can separate the test ride time from the purchase time, make it very clear from the beginning, I am not ready to buy a motorcycle yet. I am doing a lot of research. I just want to ride this bike and see if it fits my needs. Next, real quick piece of advice. If you go to a dealer and you're test riding bikes and they're like, hey, we can get you a really great deal, but you've got to buy today, don't fall for that. Don't do it. There's always going to be a great deal if you buy today. And we're going to talk about some special times where there actually may be better deals, but for the most part, patience. Please exercise patience. It's a big purchase. You're going to spend a lot of money. You're hopefully going to ride this bike for many years. Be patient. Don't fall for that. Buy today or the deal will be gone.
Now, once you have realized what model you are looking for, don't be afraid to do a lot of research, take your time, and then also you may have to go out of your area. That's where you're going to quite possibly find way better deals and a wide variety of deals that you can kind of, play with.
Yeah, this is really important. A lot of dealers are happy to ship bikes. You may actually find a better deal in another state and they can ship a bike for a couple $100 and you're still better off. So yeah, definitely go out. Don't be afraid to do an internet search and look at what's available outside of your immediate area. Now, once you're ready to buy, try to find a reputable dealer if that's the avenue that you're going, because that can make the experience a whole lot more enjoyable and a lot more likely that you're going to get a good deal. And so don't be afraid to go on forums and Facebook and ask people. You can definitely get a lot of opinions in terms of whether or not they've had a good experience and whether or not the pricing was fair when those people bought those motorcycles.
All right, this next one is my favorite because you have to get skills at this. When you go in looking at that bike, especially if they have the bike, it's the model, the color, the year, don't bring your emotions with it. And I wouldn't share. I would not share that is the bike, especially if they have that particular color. I'm not going to share, wow, that's the only color I want. I can't believe you have this one. Once you show your cards, they're all over you.
You lose a little bit of leverage. And I can tell you that the bike that I have that's just off screen, we'll show it to you in a future video. I needed this motorcycle. I needed it. Once I saw it, I absolutely needed it. But
I needed it for you.
And yeah, I mean, that's how we happen. That's how this happens in our family. And this bike here, Joanna wanted this. This is a 23 Road King Special, blacked out. Again, we'll show you these bikes a lot more in future videos, but in all cases, we really want them. You are really good, and I think I've learned actually that from you, is this ultimately, I've said it before, this is a business deal, which means you treat it like a business deal. You don't get emotional, you don't get attached to the bike because that's going to distract you. And in the end, you might be paying a little bit more, or in some cases a lot more, if they know, okay, this is the bike, this is the only one that's in this area and they want that one. There are some motorcycles that maybe you like. I know that you've got some motorcycles that you like that, well, the color, quite frankly, isn't all that popular on a model that might not be as popular. Now, she loves these bikes.
Yep.
However, and we're not going to reveal it because that will ruin our whole leverage thing that we just talked about.
That's right.
This is the one that she loves, all you dealers out there, so don't cut her anything.
Just put one on the floor, she'll buy it.
But
I would.
We can get a lot of money off these bikes because not a lot of other people really love them. So it's just you because you're weird, I guess.
That's my job.
That's your
I like
job.
what other people don't like. Oh, and speaking of...
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
How am I supposed to... Wow, first video, and she comes out with truth. A truth bomb that was kind of like, ugh. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Also, I'm going to say, don't get emotional with the salesperson, because if you get a really great salesperson, you may be like, oh my gosh, this is the nicest salesperson. I really want to help them out and buy this bike, or you know what I mean? Because some salespeople are salespeople for a reason.
And I'm picturing when you say don't get emotional with a salesperson, like you're crying on their shoulder or something.
No, I mean,
don't do that ever. That's just a bad idea.
If you want to buy, you just decide, I really want to buy from this dealership because, the salespeople are nice.
Next tip you might want to consider is buying a bike sometimes can take a long time if you're going through a dealer. Now, my lovely wife here wouldn't necessarily understand that because this wonderful Road King Special, you know what she did to me? She said, I want that, go buy it. I got to sit in the dealer for hours doing all the stuff we're talking about here. And
I didn't want to say goodbye to my Softail Slim. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's like...
And I knew I'm not really good at just going and buying because I'll just talk myself out of it. So I sent you. You did a good job.
Be aware that especially if a dealer's busy, you go there on a weekend, you may be there for a number of hours.
Yeah.
Most of you have bought a car before. A bike can take even longer sometimes, and you got to go through multiple steps. Even if you walk in there with cash, it can take a long time.
Proof of insurance.
Proof of insurance, yeah. So it can take a little bit of time to buy a motorcycle. Bring snacks and water or unsweetened iced tea with just a little bit of lemonade.
Now, you may know this, you may not, but there are a couple times that are absolutely best time to buy. It is true. End of the month, dealerships and salespeople are looking to make their numbers. So they're looking for every dollar. That's when you walk into a dealership. The last bike that we were involved in, that your friend bought,
he hit like a triple whammy.
Oh my gosh, the last day of the month, and he doubled his money. You get it like for like a bet. It was off season. So if you're going off season looking for a motorcycle at the end of the month, bam, bam, you're looking at a good price.
Then what he did to stack all that on there is he bought the previous year model, which had some additional incentives because the 2025s were coming out. So he's got end of month, off season, and it was a previous year model they were trying to clear out. Also, be aware, again, we mentioned this before, but some of those colors that are not as desirable, you will know this because you did your research. That's a negotiation tool. Hey, you've had this bike here for months, and I can take it off your hands for you.
Well, or you can, if you're not sure if a color is really good, you can go ahead and sit on those multiple bikes in that color and see what the salesperson says. Like the salespeople told me, make me an offer. They literally, they were like, what can we do? Because they...
What can we do to get you on this ugly bike?
Right?
Next thing, especially if you're going through a dealer, they should allow you to test ride the motorcycle, whether it's new or used. Obviously, if it's a newer bike, you don't have the potential issues that you do if it's a used bike, but all bikes ride a little bit differently. You need to make sure that you enjoy riding that particular motorcycle. I can recall one time test riding, it was a Harley Davidson Fat Boy, and I've ridden Harley Davidson Fat Boys before, but this one in particular, it didn't ride very well. It was a lot more stiff. It vibrated more than the typical Harley Davidson does. The shifter lever was, and those are adjustable, but the shifter lever was all messed up, and it was actually a little bit bent. So especially if you're buying a used bike, make sure you test ride it. Make sure if there are any issues with that motorcycle, you deal with that at the time of purchase. You get it in writing if anything needs to be repaired, that they're willing to do that. And if they're not willing to do it and it's important to you, again, this is a business deal. Don't be afraid to walk away or look at something else.
One huge tip is don't be afraid to ask for way more off than you're really willing to go.
Yeah, it depends. Again, it's going to depend on the model. It's going to depend on the year. It's going to depend on the time of the year that you're purchasing. Discounts could be anywhere from nope, sorry, or 20, 30%, depending on the motorcycle. The big thing, and I mentioned this earlier, you are not, please, if you hear nothing else in this video, you are not negotiating a monthly payment. And so many salesmen, whether it's motorcycles, cars, they're going to ask you, well, what kind of monthly payment are you looking for? Irrelevant. Immediately switch that conversation to, it doesn't matter. I need to know the out the door price. And at this point, you want a line item. You want a bill of sale that's going to show you all of the different items, what they're charging you for. The monthly payment will be the monthly payment. Remember, you've already done this homework. You already know how much you're willing to spend out the door. You've already done some research. You already know about what the monthly payment is going to be. Hopefully you've been realistic on your expectations for interest rates if you're going to take out a loan, knowing that they can be pretty high for a motorcycle, anywhere from 8 to 20 to 30% or more, depending on your credit. So you're negotiating that out the door price. The monthly payment will work itself out because you've already figured all that out when you went online and did all the calculations.
And when you are working on getting that out the door price, you want to strip out everything that you possibly can, all of the add-ons, because they are really good at adding on add-ons.
Especially if you're going to a dealer that is not reputable. And so I'm talking about things like the tire warranty package, the paint warranty package. There can be a lot of things in that itemized bill of sale, which is why it's so important to have that. When you look at those things, say, I don't need this warranty, I don't want that warranty. Now, I'm not saying you can't have an extended warranty. If that's something that really gives you a certain comfort level and you've built that into your out the door price, by all means, you can leave that in there. Things like extended service plans where, I can get the first 3 or, Harley Davidson does this, where you can get the first 3 or 4 services or the first 2 years of services done. And essentially what you're doing is you're not getting those for free. You're paying for them up front, but then when you go to the dealer and they're trying to charge you $300, $400, $500, $600 for a service, those are already included because you paid for those at the time of purchase. But if you don't want that, if you're someone like, for us, I work on our bikes.
You don't want me working on the bikes.
Yeah, she's not so helpful.
There would be a lot more sparkle-tasticness going on.
Probably, and so she does a good job of glitter bling, which I'm sure you're going to share on your bike, which is not something I need. So if you want to work on your own bikes, make sure that extended service plan's not in there no matter what dealer you're going to, but line items, that way you can negotiate on each one of those things and that will help bring the cost down.
Now, how do you know that you have gotten the very best deal at that dealership, they're going to be willing to let you walk.
And this, I must admit, is not something I'm nearly as good at. Walk away queen over here.
That's me.
You are very good at being able to do that. And
James.
I envy her for that ability to just be like, hey, I know I've been sitting here for the last hour or two and we've been going back and forth, but it's not exactly what I want. So
I'm gonna think about
bye-bye.
it. Yeah.
And for me, it's hard because we've been there for a while. And as much as I say don't get attached to an idea of buying a bike, once you start getting that far into it, it can be really tough. But if you can have that discipline, it's going to go a long way in making sure that you're getting the best possible deal. Now just remember, their best deal might not be your best deal because don't be afraid to look outside your general area. They may be legitimately giving you the best deal they can. I'm saying like, hey, you can go ahead, you can walk. This is as much as we can do. If you've done your homework, you might know that, hey, there's some other options here with some other dealers. This is why I really like the high volume dealers, because typically they're going to be able to meet the best possible prices. And if you don't like it at that point, then maybe you have to reassess what you're looking at, what you're trying to buy in your own budget.
Now, when you're off to the finance office, it's a super fun place. And that's usually when the sales pitches continue, because they're going to have a lot of add-on options for this and for that, and ones that you absolutely need. I would say do your research and know what you really want. You may like the extended warranties, the extended service plans. Maybe you're just like, you know what, I work on my own bike now. He works on our bikes. We don't necessarily need that. So know before you go in what you want and what you just absolutely do not need, and then stand firm.
And this is where I think I finally have an advantage over you. I am the
Yes.
king of like, no, 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 no,
They would,
no.
they would probably get me with some of those because they all sound really good.
She's always looking at me, whether it's
I
a
am.
car,
I'm
a motorcycle, like, that sounds like we need that. I'm like, we don't need it, okay? Oh, there's a motorcycle
I know, I
flying right
heard
down
it.
our
I
street.
heard it and I was like, who's out there?
And we're here filming in the garage. But yeah, if you like the extended service plans, if you like extra warranties, consider them. Generally speaking, we don't, because I work on our bikes, like you said, and I just think the standard warranty is usually enough.
So now you're done. You're going to be riding that beauty off the showroom floor, wind in your hair, and you're going to be feeling like $1,000,000 and not waking up in the morning just with a pit in your stomach.
And it is rewarding when you've done the research, you know exactly what you can spend, you've stuck to your budget, you got the best deal you could. Enjoy it. As always, thank you so much for being here. We'll have these videos out every single week. Please share with your family, friends, anybody you know who loves motorcycles. Thanks for being here. Be safe out there.
Bye.
Hold on, we have to pause here for a second. I just heard the UPS guys show up.
You're going to hear the dogs.
You're gonna probably hear our dogs bark. I have a cam being delivered. So yeah, we'll have a video about that one too, but hold on a second.
I guess you didn't knock. You're going to want to get that. You're going to want to get it from the door.
No, that's fine. No, who's gonna steal a cam? Look what I got, everybody. This piece of metal with circles attached
I
to
don't
it.
want this. I want something from Amazon.
This is awesome. What is this metal piece? I don't know. Is it brass knuckles, a weapon?
Just put it back where you found it.
Yeah, this is stupid. Can't believe I thievery that.